Welcome back to Under Oath. Today we got actor and musician Lukas Haas. Lukas, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. How you doing?
Okay. Quick question: black and white or color? Which one did you prefer for Spider-Man Noir?
Well, the whole intention was black and white, like actual authentic noir. So that was initially that was kind of how I saw it. And I do think it's a great way to watch it. It's actually cool to see Spider-Man swinging around webs, all the special effects in black and white. I don't think it's something that I've ever seen before. But I have to say the way they did the color is pretty awesome. It's like that Technicolor, very vibrant, and very of that period. So it feels authentic either way. And I've had trouble choosing myself. So I've watched episodes in both. And it's fun to get to play around and watch them however you want.
It was so weird. I remember when I watched it, I was going, I got to make a choice.
Well, on set, the monitors. So when you walk off set, you go watch playback, and all the monitors were in black and white. So it was pretty cool to you do a scene and then you go watch it, and you're like, oh wow, it looks like I'm in that time period, right? It was and I've never seen that before. I've never been on a show or a movie where they had a black and white monitor. But yeah, the creator Oren, that was his intention, was to really fully embrace that noir aspect of it, which I think he really did and did a great job of.
The one thing I'm not a fan of, I hate when they drop everything at the same time because I burn through it instead of appreciating it. And
Right.
I really wish this would have dropped over like an 8-week time frame. So I could have been, I can enjoy the hour instead of going directly into the next one and the next one and the next one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
little different.
I was wondering about that myself. Obviously, I think that's an Amazon thing. They made that call. And I don't, I think I'm probably on your side with that. I probably would have, I like that. Like when I did the show Righteous Gemstones, it was fun to have the next episode to
Yep.
to look forward to. But apparently people love binge watching these days. So
It's
so
an
that's
addiction. It's the way you like
that's the
doing it.
whole thing. Yeah, exactly.
But I tell you, this was the kind of show that I think you could have built off of if it was a
Yeah.
weekly thing. And I mean,
Yeah.
everybody I know, for example, while I'm an attorney, I'm a show host, I write comic books, I had an appreciation for this more than I had for a lot of other superhero television shows. This one was done just so well, and it really was surprising.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, the creators, the people behind the show, they really are, they're artists. They had a very clear vision and they really accomplished it, and they went all out to make sure that it was completely authentic. I mean, it felt like
Yep.
you were on, those hard angles, the long shadows, the wardrobes, everything about it was completely authentic to that period and to that genre.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did an amazing job. I'm with you.
Every episode, I just want to say, yeah, see, yeah.
Yeah,
It was like a
right?
Cagney thing. It kept haunting me, and I was wondering. I said, are we going to pull this off? Because there's the Flatfoots. You're going back to dialogue that is God, I mean 60, 70 years old at least, and it worked. Was it the writing? Was there a lot of improv? I mean, were people just like going, we're going to do what we want, or was it we're sticking to this script no matter what?
Well, I think a lot of it is Nick. Nick is just a very creative actor. He's so engaged. He's so zeroed in. He's so in it that, and he never says the same line twice. He always does it differently. He's playful. He's playing with it. He's trying to find, the nuances, and so I think there's that helps lend, and it sort of gets everyone else in that same doing the same kind of thing. So for me, it was amazing just getting to bounce off of him, because that's how I like to do it. I don't like to have some preconceived idea of how I'm going to say a line. I like to play. I like to be creative and experiment and explore, and that's how he does it, and I think he definitely set the tone. And Oren, the creator, and all the people working on it, they were like loving that, you know. So they were. It's not like they wanted you to stick to the script exactly. They were completely into that playfulness.
Now, as an actor, you have a great supporting role here. You're playing Silvermane's number one consigliere. We'll call it a consigliere role, where
Yeah.
you're kind of you make everything happen for this guy. You know, when you have how can I say, when you have a set like this and the main actor's improving, do you suddenly just go, okay, I'm going to do it before he does it, or do you just wait for him to start?
Well, it's funny because in the like the very first scene, it's intimidating. I met Nick. I had never met him before, and he's looking at you like he wants to kill you. Because we're antagonistic in our roles. So at first it was a little scary, like it had some nerves. But no, as the days went on and we got to start playing with each other, I started to understand how he worked, and then it just becomes this where you're bouncing off each other and playing with each other and finding the scene. So yeah, it's just getting to work with people on that level, and in particular Nick was a really exciting and just such a great experience.
Now, I don't want to ruin anything because I know people still want to see this movie, this show, and everything. Your character is ridiculously loyal, and whatever the outcome is, you're going down this road. And I guess you're thinking to yourself, God, is this character going to live? Is this character going to die? But I mean, you stayed pretty straight on through the whole process. And I loved your character so much. And it's difficult to see a character like that, their future, and not want to know that they're going to be there forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just sort of, yeah. I felt the same. It's
Mm.
it's interesting because it's hard to speak on it without
Yes, we can't say a word. I've been trying to figure out since last night how to talk about this because
Yeah.
I want people to watch it. I want people to love this character. I mean, your character, it's not like, hey, I'm an underling. I'm this. I'm this. I mean, your character plays a huge amount. I mean, I would say you're the main antagonist for Nick Cage, the majority of this show.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that the element of it in the beginning. It's for sure. All of the scenes are just me toe to. I mean, all of my scenes are just toe to toe with Nick, and actually toe to toe with Silvermane, with Brendan Gleeson's character. He's my boss, but I push back a lot.
Yeah.
I have my own opinions, and it was a really fun role to get to lean into and kind of find how you navigate that, But generally, those that type of antagonistic thing on screen, it heightens the emotions. So anything you do as an actor, any of the choices you make, really show more, because of that heightened emotion. You're kind of like any little choice just is heightened also. So it's just very very potent and fun kind of role to explore.
Now, every character I see, I imagine like the great characters. For example, like there was a character Dokes in Dexter. He was the only one who knew that Dexter was the bad guy. And in this show, you're the only one who seems to know that Nick Cage's character is full of crap.
Yeah. No, it's true. Like looking back, I'm like, uh, it's funny because I am the most loyal.
Yeah.
I'm actually right. My character is right. My character is loyal, true blue, and Spider-Man really, he kind of he throws me under the bus and frames me. You
Yeah,
know.
it ain't great.
Um,
Ben Riley is the bad guy in this character. In this, but people don't realize, when they know this. A lot of people don't get that Ben Riley. It's a different version of Spider-Man, and everyone's looking for, oh, is this Peter Parker? No, it's just an Elseworld kind of concept that people don't get, and I think that's what made it so great is that we weren't living in a set universe.
No, it's true. There was a lot to play with, and it's true because he's like a down on his
Yeah.
luck guy. It's not so clear that he's just like a good, this good Spider-Man kid. He's like a private investigator. He's done with it all. He's over it. He's a drunk. He doesn't want to deal with the whole Spider-Man aspect of his life anymore. So there's a lot of dynamics, in the character and also in the way that the world worked. So I think that just it just was there was so much to play with, and it made it so much more interesting. It's a great take on
Yep.
the whole Spider-Man idea. Getting to see that world, but then it turns into Spider-Man. It almost reminds me more of the older, like the first Spider-Man movies, and like those kind of. It has that, like there's like real story. It's
Yes.
based more on the story than just the effects and all that stuff. It's really about the person, which I thought was a great choice.
Now, you mentioned earlier, you said you get on set, the actor in front of you is your enemy. I mean, can you be friends with somebody when you're shooting something like that? Or do you go, no, I got to stay in character because I can't even like this guy for 10 seconds while I'm trying to act?
I'm not really a method guy. I've worked with actors who are, and I respect it. And I've done movies where I did that before. But just to sort of, because sometimes there's a role where you really want to like just stay in it so that you can feel it permeate like whatever that character has inside, you can feel it permeating out on screen. And sometimes it's hard to just you turn that on. But in this case, no, it was, he and I had a really cool relationship. He's a lot of fun to talk to, and he's a really interesting guy. And he's so focused. And it felt heightened every time we were working together. So there was never, it was easy to just jump right into it.
Now, when I found out I was getting this interview, and I get a lot of people I love, and I'm going, holy crap, I'm going all the way back to Witness. It was so weird because watching your images, and I've known all the movies and shows you've been in, and I'm going, my God, this guy has moved through some of the most important films in the last 40 years. I mean, when you leave this planet and you're going, I want somebody to watch this movie I was in, which one do you pick?
I mean, it's funny after all these years, it still has to be Witness. Still has to be Witness. It was a very special moment for me in my life. And looking back, yeah, it's just what a great film it was. It's just like so well directed. And it's just one of those special moments. And I mean, to me, it's Harrison's best work. I mean, I love his action movies too, and all of his movies. I mean, he's one of the greats. But that was just it was a moment in time, and it was Peter Weir's. I mean, it's very special, very special.
I mean, we're talking about Inception. You're talking about all these ridiculously great movies you've been in. I mean, when you get the opportunity to go, hey, your agent calls you, hey, what do you think about doing Spider-Man Noir? You're going, is it a movie? They go, no, it's on Amazon. Is it the same feel? Or you're going, hey, listen, this is a big deal. I finally get to do my Marvel movie.
Oh, I mean, it was very exciting. I never even considered being in a Marvel thing. It hadn't even really crossed my mind, to be honest with you. But when I heard the concept,
Yeah.
And what a cool angle they were taking on it, yeah, it was extremely exciting. And Nick Cage, I mean, he's also been one of my heroes since I was a kid. Wild at Heart, I remember I used to be obsessed with that movie and his performance. And so yeah, I mean, it was easy to go, hey, let's do this. This sounds insane, you know.
It's been a fantastic, your characters throughout have been amazing, and this one was you did a fantastic job. But I'm gonna move out of this because I'm gonna talk about a second love that you have. Myself, I get to practice law, I get to do this, I get to write comic books. I'll be at San Diego Comic Con next month.
Oh, cool.
You get to be a musician. You get to go, hey, listen, I get to do something I love that's a little more intimate to me.
Yeah.
How do you fit that in, or you go, hey, listen, I want to take this as serious as I do my acting?
Oh, I mean, I take it very, very seriously. It's something that I've loved since I was a kid. I kind of got into acting and music at a similar age. I mean, acting was my first love, but music, I started drumming when I was 8. I got my first drum set and playing piano when I was 11 and guitar and all that stuff. So I got my first like recording equipment when I was in my teens, and I was in bands. I used to live in Austin, Texas. I was in a bunch of
That's nice.
bands. Like music has been part of my life forever. And whenever I'm not making a film or a show, that's what I'm doing. So it's funny though. It's always been like a personal thing to me. You know, making music has been my own creative outlet when I wasn't working on films. But I've been doing it for so long at this point, and I have so much music. Really a songwriter more than anything, I'd say.
Yep.
Um, so uh, I've sort of gotten to a point where I'm like, all right, I don't expect anything out of it. I don't expect people to listen to it, but I may as well just put it out there. I may as well,
You like it?
you know,
It's,
exactly.
yeah.
It's like it's my creativity that you and it's so now I'm starting to put stuff out for people to, if they want to listen, they can.
Now, parallel universe Spider-Man Noir. What is the parallel universe for Lucas Haas when you're going, well, if they didn't find me in that element in that kindergarten class, what would I have been?
I actually do think that well, I was set on acting. I mean, there was no getting me off of it. I was bugging my parents for about a year before that happened. I was discovered in kindergarten, but and they didn't even want to let me do it when the casting director called my parents. They were like, they weren't sure. But since I had
It's a
been
tough
so
life.
all about it,
Mm.
so I probably would have continued on that. But if acting had never happened, music for sure would have been. I would have put all my energy into that because I really do love it. Um, I think it's the greatest art form in a lot of ways. The way that music works. You can be in a moment in your life, and a song is playing, and it becomes part of your memory. With every other art form, you have to watch it, or sit there and sort of take it in. But with music, it can become part of you and
Yeah.
part of your moments. And so, in that way, I think it just kind of transcends. And by the way, movies and TV, whatever, wouldn't be nearly as
No.
good without music, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that I'm drawn to and compelled to do, no matter what. My whole life, I've had like sort of dry spells where I'm like, I got to just, focus on something else, but I just keep coming back to it because it's something I love so much.
We got about a little under 2 minutes. You just mentioned something, with the tough times I go to music. Now, there are tough times, especially in acting. It's a very vagabond existence. You're hoping for the next job. With about a minute and a half, what do you do when things aren't great? When you're like going, a job's not coming, you're a month, 2 months, 3 months, it's dry. What do you do to bring yourself up?
Well, I guess I live my life kind of in the moment. So I don't tend to worry all that much about um, where my career is in that way. Money was never a big, like, it wasn't the reason that I started acting. fame was not the reason I started acting. I act because I love the creativity of it. I love playing roles. I love diving into something creatively. Um, so music gives me that same thing, and I can do it just on my own, like sitting on my bed playing the guitar, writing a song. So what I do is spend time with family, spend time with my friends, get on my bike, ride around on the beach, go to the gym, just like live. I just like to, I don't spend too much time worrying. I just try to stay in the moment. I mean, there have been times in the past where I did, especially in my kind of teenage years. Even though my career was in a good spot, you're adjusting to yourself. You're growing into yourself. You were one type of person as an actor when you're 8, you know what I mean, and you're a different type of actor when you're 17,
Yeah.
18, 20, whatever. So there was an adjustment period for sure. And in fact, there were times when I kind of rejected acting and didn't even want to do it anymore. I mean, just as in life, you go through ups and downs, you go through different moments, you learn things, you forget them, you relearn them, you get excited, you get disappointed, and uh, right now I'm having a great moment
Yep.
with acting. I got a bunch of films and stuff coming out, but next year it might be a downward thing. You never know, and I've gotten used to that. I guess that's part of it too.
Yep.
Acting works that way, life works that way, and so I'm just trying to
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
myself.
Well, as Tom Petty said, some days are diamonds and some days are rocks. So, so,
Exactly, yeah.
so I appreciate it. Spider-Man Noir is on Amazon right now, and if you want to see some of his music, go to YouTube. He does a version of Rambling Man. I just heard that before we went on, and it was great talking to you, Lukas.
You too. Thanks so much. Great questions. That was fun.